In this video I will set up row/paddle boats as the first boat type. You can enter the paddle boat and IK is used to hold the oars. You can move forward with the W key and it will play an animation. The foam we set up will also show up, although this is highly experimental. There are sound effects as well. Pressing A or D will steer the boat and only the corresponding sides oar will be used. The force values can easily be changed. The template can be used to make any type of row boat, such as the second one, which uses different meshes. If you purchase the project files, you will get 4 exclusive boat examples. The models are from Sketchfab. The first one is this Dinghy one. Next is a kayak. This functions differently to the regular rowing as it only uses one oar, so it is an extra feature. Next is this traditional Chinese boat, which has a lamp attached at the front with physics. It has a setting to toggle the lamp lights. Finally is a Viking ship, which has characters inside to row the oars, and the player acts as a captain, giving commands to say where to go using pointing animations. This one uses simple cloth physics for the sail and flag as well. The foam also is not working here, possibly due to an experimental bug as Impulse was working. This video will require a boat template actor, which I showed how to make in the master boat video. I will put a link to that video in the description below. First I will get this paddling animation from Mixamo. The animation itself isn't actually that important since IK will be used to drive the arms anyway. The animation is just for the montage and notify. Make sure to download it without skin. I will then use the Mixamo converter to convert it to the Unreal rig. I will put a link to the software in the description below. In Unreal Engine, I will make new folders for the boat pond blueprints. Import the animation, then right-click and create an animation montage of it. I will change its length by making it start at 4 seconds. Then I will speed it up by changing the rate scale to 2. Find the point in the animation when the player pulls back and the boat should move, and add a montage notify there. I will name it Move Boat. Next I will get sound effects. You can use any for this, but I will get them from Pixabay. First is this paddles rowing sound 4. Next is this swim sound for the water interaction sound. I used a MP3 to wave converter, then a trimmer to get just the portions I needed. I will import the sounds in a new folder. You can use the same sound twice for different effects by changing the volume and pitch to make it sound different. Now make an enumeration called boat paddling enum with the values both left and right. This is to select which oar will be used. Now open the boat pond actor. We will add some new code here that the row boat will need but can be used by any other boat too. Make 2 functions called onBoatForce added and onBoatTorque added. Leave them both empty, as they will instead be overwritten by the child blueprints for different functionality. This will be code that is called when the boat is either moved or steered. Now go to the Move Boat event. Call both corresponding functions we made in each path. I will now quickly make a new folder for the boat mesh. For the oar mesh I will get it from Quixel Bridge, which at the time of this video's release has been replaced with Fab unfortunately. You can use any mesh for this, especially if you are using your own boat mesh. Here I am using the modeling tools to set the pivot point of the oar to where it should rotate around, which realistically won't be the center. Now open the oar mesh. Add a socket called IK socket and position it where you want the player to hold the oar. Then add one called head socket and add it at the head or the point where the oar touches the water. Now go to the boat pawn actor. Make a child class of it called rowboat. Open it. First we need to add some unique components to this blueprint. Add a scene called left paddle parent with the oar mesh attached to it. Make sure to set the collision of the paddle to no collision, as it will interfere with the boat physics object otherwise. Add a scene to the mesh called left paddle head and set the parent socket to the head socket. This is used to add foam for the oars. We need to now position it. Make sure it is left relative to the direction facing away from the camera and that you are moving the parent scene. I will speed this part up. Now if I rotate the paddle mesh, it rotates properly around the pivot. Duplicate it for the right oar and change the parent's rotation to the opposite direction. Now go to the event graph. Click on Override in Functions and select the On Boat Force Added. Add a play sound at location and promote it to a variable so we can give different boats different sounds if needed. I will set its default value to the water move sound. For the location I will use the actor location. I will give the sound some variance by setting the pitch to a random float in range. You should keep it relatively close to 1 so it doesn't sound weird. Do the same for torque, overriding the event. Make sure to use I will now comment the code. Now we can do the IA move input event. First check if can input is true, so we can only move using the animation. Make sure to use the triggered input so we can keep the keys held down and it will continue moving after the animation ends by restarting. Then add a branch that checks if IA moves Y value is greater than 0. Copy the code shown. This is to move forward, so we play the animation and call both paddle events, then set steering to false so when the move notify is called it knows we should move forward and not steer. We will use a select node here to choose if left or right using the X value of IA move. For the steer force, copy this calculation. This map range clamp maps the boolean to float from -1 to 1, as by default it is 0 to 1. We need it to be -1 if left and 1 if right, so we are doing this. I will now test it. It is not working properly, so let's fix the bugs. First, go to the paddle right event. Multiply the absolute by -1, since for right we rotated the parent scene by 180 degrees, so we need to invert the mesh's rotation direction. The boat was not moving since the move forward amount was too low for the force being applied. I will change it to something like 40,000, although you can play around with this value until it works correct for you. I will also increase the torque amount. Now go to the paddling animation. As mentioned, we only need the data from this for the notify, so make a new anim slot called data slot and set it to that. This prevents the animation from actually being seen since we haven't added this particular slot in the animation blueprint. Also, I made an error in the master boat video in the animation blueprint. I forgot to set the second float to right IK alpha, so we'll fix that now. If the IK position doesn't look right, you can very easily change it by adjusting the socket in the oar mesh. Sometimes you might need to offset it in Z as well so it looks right for that mesh. Also, you can adjust the oar IK offset until the player holds the oar as accurately as possible. Moving forward is working correctly too now, and the sound effects are playing. steering works as well as expected. The final thing to mention is to repeat the importance of understanding that the water plugin is experimental, and so the foam I was not able to get to work 100% as expected in all cases. You can play around with the values and look deeper into it if you want to find a fix for the issues. Make sure you set the fluid sim reference as well. It is working here when moving forward. It is difficult to get it to work on the oars, however, since the position is not close to the water surface line. If I find a different method for this, I will definitely share it as a bonus video or short. That is all for the main video. I will now quickly show how to use the Rowboat Master Actor to make any type of rowboat using different meshes. I will use this great rowboat model from Sketchfab made by this user. I will link it in the description if you want to use the same one. You need 3 main components, starting with the main mesh. Make sure all transforms are at their default values. You can do this in Blender by pressing Ctrl A and pressing all transforms. Next you need the oar mesh. Make sure the meshes are all rotated to the correct axis. The oar needs to be pivoted where it should rotate as well. Finally, and this is important, you need a hull collision mesh. This is basically just a closed-off or capped version of the boat mesh with all accessories removed. It should be a single exterior outline mesh with no interior accessories either, such as seats. Now import the models in Engine. I already have the materials set up previously. For the main boat, add collision to it. The material of the hull collision should be this hull opacity material you should have if you followed the master tutorial. This is a simple material which is masked and unlit with opacity mask set to 0 so it isn't seen in game. Add the IK socket to the oar mesh. Now make a child blueprint of the rowboat actor. scene. The swimming and oxygen system is also included. Also, each boat type will be sold separately, but if you purchase any one of them, you will be given a 75% off discount code to be used for the other boats. Thanks for watching.